Hello there, frugal friends. Now, if you saw my recent Morrison's haul a few videos back, I will put a link in the description box. I got 2 big bags of carrots. Now, carrot cake has been on the offing for Chris, so there's no worries about that because he wanted that. But I'm going to make, and I've found this online and it was quite funny that it came up on a short that I'd seen, carrot gnocchi. And I was thinking, right, okay, what can I do with the carrots? This carrot gnocchi came up. I love gnocchi. It's one of my favourites. I have made gnocchi on this channel before. I've made potato gnocchi, and I have also made butternut, no, it wasn't butternut squash. It was a blue Hubbard squash gnocchi. And I figured carrot gnocchi should work as well. So we're going to have a go at that. We're going to do the simple basic recipe because you can do gnocchi with eggs, but we're just going to go for carrot and flour and see how that works. But we're going to have a bit of an experiment as well. I'm Samantha, this is Channel Trying to Get By. If you haven't been here before, welcome, and if you are one of my frequent followers, welcome back. So the experiment we're going to do is, I normally would just cook carrots on the hob in a pan lid on, cook till soft, done. But I thought I'd have a go at the microwave and see, is it easier? Is it, better? Is it faster? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep my carrots, put them into 2 different containers, split the recipe and see which one works the best. So let me know in the comments below, do you cook your vegetables in a pan or do you cook them in the microwave? Which method do you prefer? Let's have a try. And if you just heard that, that's Smarty. I think he wants to go out. Carrots all nicely chopped up. So I've got 2 things I've got. So I've got my big pan and I've got a bowl. This is one of the biggest bowls I've kind of got. So I'm going to put roughly, carrot down, that's all right. Dog will eat that. Dog loves carrots. Half the carrot in there, roughly. There we go. Other half of the carrot in the pan. Another piece of carrot down because I'm trying to do this left-handed. Shall I swap hands? That's a bit easier. I'll probably still end up throwing some carrot on the floor. Like I say, little Tinkerbell dog will eat it. So I'm not too worried about that. There we go. Right. 2 things of carrot. Now obviously the big difference is when you cook in a pan, you've got to cover whatever's in the pan with the liquid properly to get it cooking properly, unless you're planning on steaming it. But I'm going to do it like that. In here, we're not going to cover it because you don't tend to cover all the vegetables in when you're in the microwave. So I've already boiled a kettle. So this is boiled water. So that's probably about half a cup of water. This I'm going to cover. So cling film on here. Not too tightly because I don't want it to explode in the microwave and go. This one I'm going to pop on the hob. Heat on. Full blast. Can't find my lid for this pan. So I'm just going to cover it with my frying pan for now. We're going to take this one over to the microwave. Now I did look up online and on average, it said about 7 minutes. So microwave plugged in helps. On for 7 minutes. So we'll test this in 7 minutes. We'll have a look at that in 7 minutes and we'll see where we're up to. In the meantime, here comes the little stinkle dog. Stinky! Come on, what's that? You want a carrot? Oh yeah, she's quite happy with that. Nothing goes to waste in this. Microwave's just pinged. So, oh yes, we are steamy in there. So I'm going to get this out carefully, obviously. There we go. Now, what I need to do is not burn myself, but also check that these are soft enough. See, they're not soft enough yet. They're good enough if you were going to do them as a side. 7 minutes is about right because they're tender-ish, but they're certainly not soft enough for making gnocchi. You need them really, really, really super tender. So I'm going to pop that back on. Carefully put that back in. I think in a way this is my one fear with things in a microwave is, am I going to burn myself on hot dishes and stuff? At least pans have handles. So I'm going to put it in, I'm going to say 5 more minutes. There we go. Let's have a look at, quick whip round the kitchen. Whee! To the pan and see where this one's up to. So this has been boiling away. Let's see. Find a big chunky one. To be honest, in terms of tenderness, these are probably slightly less done than the microwave ones, but I did notice it took at least 2 minutes for this to, even though I'd boiled the kettle, it took at least 2 minutes for this to get back up to the boil. And so maybe it's taken a little bit longer for the action of boiling to happen. So 5 more minutes. I'm going to do some jobs for 5 minutes and see what I can get done. It's amazing when you set yourself a timer what you can get done. Well, in that 5 minutes I managed to fold all the laundry into the laundry baskets. That's not too bad. Not 5 minutes wasted just doing nothing. Let's grab this again. Again, please be careful if you're doing this. Whew. Right, let's check now. I need to make sure, I'm just going to put the phone up there. Prop the camera up so we can see properly. Right, I need to make sure that this is still no, it's just not quite, because I need to be able to mash this. It's getting there. I mean, I could put it in the food processor or the blend, you know, this. Do you know what? I think it's good enough to go in the smoothie maker, because that should blend that up quite well. Plus, in the time that we need to let this cool off, it will carry on cooking for a little bit longer. So let's take this one, take our knife, take this one, take our little selves over to the pan and see where the pan's up to. Let's have a look, see. Alright, I'm just going to take this off the heat slightly so it doesn't continue boiling, just so I can get in there. Let's get one of the biggish ones and see. Now you see that's still not got enough give. The little one, let's see. Just about. I'm going to say I'm going to have to go for a little bit longer in the pan. I'm going to give these 5 more minutes on the heat with the lid on. These are good enough. So time-wise, it looks that the microwave is certainly going to be quicker than the pan, which is good. I am going to drain off the liquid from these. So I'm just going to do that using my sieve, just because it'll be a little bit easier to do. So I'm just going to drain that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this with nothing on top of it, just to steam off until these are pretty much cold, because I don't want to start kneading this with the flour while it's still really warm. And we'll have a look in 5 minutes and see how the other lot's doing. I've ended up cooking these another 7 minutes. So these were on for 12 minutes. These have been on for nearly 20 minutes. So clearly cooking this in the microwave is a little bit faster. Yes, I agree. If you look, there's probably slightly less in here than there is in here, but individual pieces will still cook at a similar sort of time. So I think I like, for certain things, it looks like I'm going to have to use the microwave. However, I'm just going to go and check the microwave in terms of anything that needs cleaning. The only issue I have with the microwave is the condensation that's inside it, but a bit of a wipe and we should be good to go again. Not too bad, as long as we don't hiss and spit everywhere. So I'm just going to do the same with these. I'll turn the pan off now. The same with these as I did with the bowl, which is just drain them, and then I'm going to leave them in the pan just to steam off until everything is nice and cold. These ones that have been in the bowl for that extra 7 minutes that the pan was cooking are quite cool now. So, and you can see how easy they are to squish. So we'll give this another 10 minutes for everything to cool down, hopefully. Maybe, do you know what? I think I'll make myself a cup of tea. Give it the time to make a cup of tea, drink a cup of tea, then we'll come back and then these will probably be nice and cool. Right, we're all nice and cool. We're going in with both lots of carrots after our little cooking experiment. In there, just about fits. Okie dokie. And let's see if we can get this to be a lovely and smooth mixture. I'm going to start mixing this carroty mixture. Now I did put a little tiny bit of water in here, just it wasn't getting going as good as it could have done. So I put a little splash of water in here because this carrot mixture was stone cold by the time I put it in, because I ended up taking a phone call that took a little bit longer than I expected. So we just were a little colder than we should have been. You want them cool but not necessarily stone cold. So my phone call lasted like nearly 2 hours by the time I was done, so this has been sat here a long while. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to go to somebody at the door. Okay, I'm back. It was only the postman just delivering a parcel of scratchy multivitamins for the little Tinkerbell dog. Right, we're going to start off in here just because I know we need to get this mixing and I don't want to start it off on the work surface because it would just make a mess. So in with all this carrot, I've just put 2 1/3 cups of flour. Now if you've seen gnocchi made before, I have said it can be made with an egg as well. But this time I'm just going flour and vegetable to start off with. And in terms of measurements, you had as much flour as is needed for your particular vegetable and how much it can absorb. So this is 2/3 cups to start with, and you can see it's starting to create like a bit of a paste, but we're not near a dough stage yet, so we're not going onto the work surface quite yet. So this is another heaping 1/3 cup, and keep mixing to see where we get up to. I think maybe this one or the next one will be the ones before I take it out and start kneading it a little bit more by hand to create our dough. As you can see, it gets thicker and harder to mix together. We're getting there. In fact, I think I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to get us into a better position. There we go, put some flour on the work surface. So I'm going to put another heaping 1/3 cup on that work surface. Start to scrape out all this dough. And I'm probably going to end up with sticky hands, but so be it. We will be fine. There we go. Get that last little bit off there. So I'm just going to get a little bit of flour onto my hands and see how this goes. Just bringing in little bits of flour from the edges until, like I say, this dough that is not sticking all to the table ends up forming. Just bring it in a little bit. Still quite sticky, as you can see by my hands. So there is every possibility we will need more flour. Now with any excess dough, because I'm just using this for tea tonight, and that's quite a lot of dough for one meal for 2 people. So as I have done before with my other gnocchis, I will put them on a tray and freeze them. I do that at the pre-cooking stage. So gnocchi normally gets cooked in a pan of boiling water until your dough rises. So you put it in the boiling water and it rises to the top. But I will not do that stage with the dough that I'm going to save. I will just cut it into the pieces of gnocchi that I want, freeze it on a tray so that they don't stick together, and then put them in a bag in the freezer. And then when the time comes to use it, I will not defrost it, I will cook it from frozen. If you try and cook it, defrost it and then cook it, it just becomes a sticky gloopy mess. So I found cooking it from frozen works the best for me. And then I like, once it's been cooked in the pan of boiling water, I like to fry it in the frying pan to get like a little bit of a crispy edge to it. Right, we are sort of there, we're still sticky, so I'm going to keep adding just little bits of flour to the middle, just sprinkles. This is why I say I'm not accurately measuring. I didn't weigh my carrots, I kind of just picked some carrots out of the bag. So if you're not weighing your carrots, you won't know exactly how much. I'm just going to move you because there's some flour that's hanging out over there. You're not going to know exactly how much flour is going to be needed until you are actually doing the dough. Again, still sticky. We're trying to get it to that point where it's just not very sticky anymore and it can be easily handled and recognised as, see, still sticking to the table, as a dough, like a pasta dough or a bread, slightly like a bread dough. I mean, it will have a slight bit of stickiness to it, but not too much. So I'm going to carry on with this. You don't want to see me do the whole of this process. If you want to see my other gnocchi dishes that I have done, I will put a link in the description box and I will show you what this looks like in a couple of minutes. I only ended up adding another good handful of flour to get to this point. You can see it's a lot less sticky, a little bit stickier underneath, so I've just put a little bit more flour down. I am going to just divvy this up into smaller portions so it's easier to handle. And then these sides will be sticky, so I'm just going to dob them in a little bit of flour. And then basically all you want to do is kind of squeeze your dough out, keeping it nice and well floured, and then just roll it till you get into your little tubes of gnocchi. So once you get to the worm size that you require, or the snake size you require, there we go. Just, again, it's a little bit fatter in some places than others, just squeeze it out. I've put a little bit too much flour on this board now, so it's not quite, almost sticking to the table. There we go, to get it to roll out a little bit better. There we go. Once you get to the size that you want, and you just get your cutter, you can use a knife, but just pop it in a little bit of flour so that it's not as going to stick as much, and then just cut your gnocchi in the size that you want. There we go. I've got mine. I like mine this sort of size. You can do there's a special board you can get, or you can use a fork to make indentations in it. I'm lazy, I can't be bothered. So all I'm going to do with this in the meantime is just pop it onto this floured tray, and this is just going to make sure that my gnocchi don't stick and stick together, ready for the freezer, or if I want to put them into a pan for cooking. So I'm going to carry on that, finish that, and then we'll get on to the cooking stage. I've just cut up the last roll of the gnocchi, sprinkled it with some flour, and then you can kind of get in there and separate them out a little bit. They've been sat there a second or so while I'm waiting for the water to boil. If they do stick slightly, I won't worry about it too much, just pop them apart. There we go. And I've put the other gnocchi, this is the gnocchi that's going to go, there we go. Once it's covered in flour, it's great. So this gnocchi I'm just going to pop into a bowl for a second while we transfer it over to our boiling pan. The other gnocchi is on the tray, ready to go into the freezer, absolutely loaded with flour so it does not stick together. So let's get this over here. This water has been boiling a little while. I'm literally just going to drop it in. That needs to come back to the boil. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a move round so they don't try and stick together. You're going to wait till that gets back up to the boil, and your gnocchi is going to rise completely to the surface. In the meantime, in a pan over here, I have just got a little bit of butter on a very low heat ready, so that as soon as that's ready, that can go in there. Just going to give it a minute or two. I'm just going to go and pop that other gnocchi in the freezer. Just as these had popped up to the surface, I've just swapped over the pans. So these are now more like a dumpling, and I'm going to put those into my hot butter over on this side, because like I said, I like to fry my gnocchi off. You can just leave them like this and put them in like a nice tomato sauce, or in a oven-proof dish with a sauce and some cheese. Is delicious. So they're going to go there. I'm just going to give those a little shake to make sure they're not sticking. And then I'm going to make the sauce that I'm going to do that's going to go with these for tea tonight. So I'm just going to empty this pan down the sink and pop a little bit of butter in there. Turn that heat up, get this butter sizzling a little bit, and into that we're going to put some garlic puree, the garlic paste I get in my lovely jar. So a good teaspoon and a little bit of that, depending on how garlicky you like it. Get that cooking very slightly, just with a little bit of butter that I've got in there, and do that for a minute or so. Again, I'm just going to give these a little shakeroo. So these won't take long at all. It depends on how fried you want them, because obviously they are cooked and ready to eat. Right, that is my garlic and butter doing its little thing. The next thing I'm going to add is this. This is miso. You can get this at supermarkets. I get this from Tesco's. It's miso paste. It's white miso paste. It is really, really good. It's made from soybeans that have been slightly fermented, but it is absolutely delicious. It's that special word there, umami. That's what you want, because you don't want to. I don't want something too sweet to go with this, because with it being carrot is quite sweet to start with. So I want a really nice savouriness. So I'm popping my umami in there with my garlic. I'm probably going to use the last of this jar. a good full, probably nearly 2 teaspoons. I'm just going to get a little bit, a little bit. I thought I only had a little bit of hot water out of the kettle. I only got a dribble left to pop that in. We're going to cook this miso down. Just break it down with the garlic. There we go. And then I have got some soy cream, which is absolutely yummy, delicious, fabulousness. I'm going to pour a little bit of that in to start this off, because I want to make sure that the miso melts into it before I add any more, because I didn't want a lumpy sauce. So this is my miso garlic sauce. You could do this with a whisk as well, might be a bit easier to make sure it's all blended in. Add a little bit more. There we go. Give this another little shake. There we go. Now the main thing to do before I dish up is taste. I think I'm going to exchange out for a whisk. Might just be that little bit easier. There you go, see? Broken down a little bit faster. Now I want plenty of cream with this because I like a good sauce. There we go. Now the main thing to do is give that a little taste. Ooh. Tell you what else would be nice with this. Mushrooms. Mushrooms and miso. Mushrooms are an umami flavour anyway. So there we go, that's our gnocchi. You don't have to cook it till it's browned, and you're not really going to see browned on this that easily, but let me see if I can get a piece out so you can see. Can you see the outside of it has now got, if you can, there's a firmer texture to it. So I'm going to get that one. Whoop. And turn this down because now it's bubbly. Oh, well, I did want to taste the taste it with the sauce, so that was one way of doing it. There you go. Give it a blow. Mmm. Okay, all heat's off. Oh, that's really nice. The sweet of the carrot with the savouriness of the sauce is a really good combination. I really like that. I'll make carrot gnocchi again. I mean, I've seen sweet potato. So we've got potato, we've got carrot, we've got blue Hubbard squash that I've done. I've seen it done with butternut squash. I've seen it done with sweet potato. So there's a variety of things that can be used to make gnocchi. I will be using my microwave, I think, a little bit more often to cook my vegetables as opposed to using a pan. I do think that's probably a little bit easier and quicker than the pan. So, oh, now there's a thought. Vegetables in the microwave for Christmas dinner. Sprouts in the, oh, I'm not sure about sprouts. Would sprouts work in the microwave? I'm sure they probably would. I bet there's things online for doing sprouts in the microwave. Let me know in the comments below if you've done sprouts in the microwave. I'll be really interested to find out how that went for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've been enjoying the previous videos that I've been doing lately. We should be having a soup video coming up after this one because we are getting near to the end of November, so it will be November's month of soups. So look out for that one, and also our November budget video for our grocery hauls. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. Please do the like and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.